before I even start, I want to say this is for the people who don't know, right? Because a lot of people already know. And then there's a lot of people that don't know, and I was one of them, right? I was one of the people who didn't know this information, know I can do this with my credit, know that I can go and get a car with zero down or such and such, whatever. I didn't know I didn't know that that was a thing, right? So I'm just trying to educate the people who don't know. If you know, this video is not for you. But if you don't know, listen. So you can get approved for a brand new car with $0 down. You can drive off the lot with a brand new car, 0 miles on it. Most likely it's gonna come with probably a couple miles on it, like 5 to 10. They gotta go gas it up, and they put a little bit of miles on it, but it's still basically new. But you can go get a 2025 and drive off the lot with $0 down. But there is certain things you have to do, right? Certain things you got to have in place. And I'm going to go through them, but I'm not going to put them in any order. I'm just going to say them, right? So first one, you got to have good credit. Obviously, everybody probably know that. You got to have good credit. I don't know exactly what range your credit got to be, but me personally, I would say 680 and up is 680 and up is where you would get approved. And what you got to do to have good credit is have some credit cards or have some loans that you're paying off on time and keeping the utilization under 30, right? And what I mean by that is, if you're, I'm gonna just say a scenario. You got $100 limit. If you got to keep it under 30% usage, and so your usage would be 30. So stay under 30, and I mean, when your payment comes back around, make sure that is under 30. So let's say you got a payment on the 12th of every month, and payment on the 12th of every month, and it's the 11th, and your bill is at 50. Okay, you over 30%. You don't want to be over 30% because that's gonna make your credit score drop, and you might get a little interest on top of, being over 30%. So on the 11th, pay it down to 29, or just pay it off under 30, right? And that's how you build credit. And the most important factor is on-time payments. Even if you're over 30%, don't miss a payment. That is top priority. That's what they look at most. That is the most percentage of your credit score is on-time payments. So make sure you're paying what you got to pay on time. Second thing, you have to have, and I don't think a lot of people know this, but you can't just, if you're new to having credit and you get a 720, that's good, but you can't go into the dealership and go get a car because you don't have any credit history, right? When I got approved for my new car, I had 3 years worth of history. They need to know how you have managed your credit over a period of time. So you got to have credit history. I don't know how many years or months would be a justifiable amount of time before you're going to get approved. But I know for a fact you got to have history. Can't go in there with a fresh, brand new 750 credit score with no history and think you're going to get approved. It don't work like that. So, second thing is credit history. You got to have some skin in the game with credit and managing money. Third thing, and I didn't know this, your debt to income ratio. I think it's around like 45 to 47% where you would be approved. So it's helping them. It's making sure that if they approve you for this car, they handled everything they were supposed to on their end. They made sure that you was able to pay it, and they made sure your credit score was good enough and such. So if you end up missing payments or you stop making payments, that's completely on you, right? So they're just going through all these verifications. But your debt to income, you have to make enough to be able to cover your bill, and they want to make sure of it every month. You're making enough money to at least cover your bill, right? And they're gonna ask you how much you pay for rent, how much you make a month, what are all of your obligations monthly that you have to pay, right? And you give them that number that you gotta, the stuff that you gotta pay, and then they'll ask you, what do you make? And then they'll compare the two, and that is a determining factor too, right? You have to make more, you have to make enough money to be able to cover your car payments. And I didn't know that. But yeah, if you got to go get another job, like for me personally, I was working a regular job, and then almost every hour that I'm not working that job, I'm out Ubering. I'm not riding people in my car, I'm dropping their food off. So, and that helped, because if I was just relying on my job income, I wouldn't have had enough, I wouldn't have got approved, right? And if any one of these things are off, you won't get approved. You have to have all of these in place. Like, you can't just have a good credit score and the rest is not where it needs to be, or you can't just have a good debt to income ratio. All of these play a factor, and if one of them is off, you'll get denied, right? So yeah, they're just trying to make sure that you got enough, or they're trying to make sure that if they let you get this car and drive off the lot with this car, they played their part and they made sure you was able to take care of these payments. That's why your credit history matters. That's why your credit score matters. That's why your debt to income ratio matters. I think it was one more. I think that was all. I don't think I'm missing one. If I am, let me know. But yeah, in order to get approved for a brand new car with 0 down, you have to have good credit score. I would say 680 and up. You have to have credit history, in my opinion, at least 2 years, maybe, right? And that's going to let them know that you're managing your credit responsibly. And then you need to have your debt to income ratio high enough to where after all your bills, you're able to still cover this car note every month. They're not talking about insurance or none like that. They're talking about just the car note, right? Anything outside of that is kind of like a personal expense. But yeah, gotta have those 3 things. And let me just show y'all the car quick. This is the car I got approved for. Screen kind of dirty, but it's cool. Nice. I got a new gear on here. Let me turn it on. All right, so this is the car I got approved for. Got my baby stuff back there. Don't worry about that. Yeah, overall, nice car. Yeah, I like the black interior. This is really what I was kind of going for. But yeah, you know, it's a nice car all around. It lets you know, it lets you know if somebody's walking next to you. This car automatically stops if it senses you approaching a car too fast and your brakes not on, it automatically stops. So it's a lot of new features and stuff, and yeah. So my personal car before this, 2006 Hyundai Sonata. It's 19 years old. It's not in the best condition. You know, I don't want to go through things, but I had to get it fixed a lot. It's rust, a little bit of rust on the side and stuff like that. But if I can go from that car to this car, then you can too, right? If you want to do that, I don't really care for it, like to drive it. This is an asset, a depreciating asset that's appreciating my life, right? So I don't really care about the car. It's just a thing that you can use or be used by it, right? But compared to my 2006 Hyundai Sonata, this is a big jump, right? Like, it's a whole lot of new features. It push to start. That might be normal to a lot of people, but for when I first got this car, it wasn't normal to me, because like I'm used to cranking my key, and you know, got a lot of different modes like auto start or auto stop when you're at the stop light, or whenever the car stops. It got auto hold on here, which is if you say you're in a drive-through and you don't want to keep your foot on the brake, as soon as your car stops, because you was pressing the brake obviously, and you take your foot off the brake, the car hold itself until you press the gas again, so you don't have to keep your foot on the gas or the brake. Heated seats, heated steering wheel. I'm not used to this, right? Like, I'm not used to this at all. I'm used to having I got an app on my phone where I can start and stop the car. I can unlock the car from like wherever, start the car from wherever. I'm used to, like, in the wintertime or something, when it's snowing outside, I have to come downstairs and crank my key 10 minutes before I leave so the car can heat up. That's what I'm used to, right? So this was a big jump, and this is just something that happened as a result of me putting my mind to it, right? So if I can do this, what else can I do, right? Like, I don't think I got limitations, because I knew I would get a car, right? But I didn't know I would get a new car at all. I didn't know I would get a brand new car. I did not know the car would be this nice. So it's like, well, if I can do this, I can probably do something else. I can do something way bigger, right? So I see this car and I use it as motivation instead of an accomplishment. Like, this is what can happen if you put your mind to it. So yeah, man, just take that in. You gotta have good credit. Debt to income got to be right. They're going to see if you can afford it every month after your expenses. And then you got to have credit history. So if you don't got no credit history right now, start researching credit, get you a credit card, and you're going to have to use that card responsibly, or those cards responsibly, for a good amount of time before you can even try to go get it approved. They got to see that you're responsible, right? So yeah, that's how you get approved. And if you want to do it, try. If you think I'm bullshitting, try what I just said, and we'll see.